You know, I feel like this guy has gotten a bit of a raw deal. A lot of people have passed him over. But come on, how can you not love an Autobot that can shoot fire from his hands? His head hands. This is the Transformers Robots in Disguise, Twinferno. And we're going to take a look at him in the latest GotBot True Review. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, subscribe, share, check out Machinery of Man, the Everything Factor, and me everywhere. Spend some time on the channel, see what tickles your fancy. Check out Universal Collision. Season 1 of my stop motion series is up now, working on Season 2. Actually working on an episode between Season 1 and Season 2. And a few other projects along the way. This guy, I feel like a lot of people have been giving a raw deal to. I think he looks really cool. A lot of people say, oh no, he looks very kiddish, blah, blah, blah. I don't see it. To me, he kind of has Dinobot colors. I'll admit that. This is a very, kind of loud orangey color, but I think that it's cool. I think that it looks good on him. Now, perhaps he's been getting the raw deal that he has. I'm going to just take these flame pieces out of his hands. We'll talk about them more in just a little bit. I think he's been getting the raw deal that he has because, if I can make him stand there, because this Twinferno does not look G1. It does not look like his Titans Return counterpart. I like the Titans Return one, and I looked at him in full in episode 224. Now, you'll notice both of them have head hands. The RiD one has the heads facing forward, and the Titans Return one has the top of the head facing to the side. We all know by now that this one has gorilla arms, and if you want them to have we'll say a sensible arm bend, you need to have the bottom of the head facing forward, and that gives him a normal arm bend. Well, with this guy, that normal arm bend comes with the top of the head facing forward. If you turn the head to the side, now he has an elbow. Take this guy out of it. Now he has an elbow out. So it's, I don't know if they've ever gotten the head hands, whatever, of Twinferno correct. This guy is a departure from G1, but I feel like he looks really cool. Now, this isn't mine. Mine is the Titans Return one. This belongs to the Scraplets. I appreciate them letting me take a look at this guy. And what do I think of him? Well, let's do... By the way, here he is with his wave mate, Bludgeon. And I guess I'll move him over for a moment. Here he is with his wave mate Bludgeon. They scale pretty well. I looked at Bludgeon in full very, very recently. I like him even though the orange is kind of bright on him. So, taking him out of it, I'm not going to be looking at Thermidor. I looked at Bisque in full in episode 212. Thermidor is blue Bisque with a new head sculpt. That's it. So, if you like that Bisque mold, I think you'll like Thermidor. I don't know if I need the mold twice. I don't know if I'm that invested in Thermidor, but hey, if you're into the RiD line, I think he's a solid one to get. He's probably an 8.5. So, all of that being said, let's take a second and look at the box art. Now, I haven't seen this guy on the RiD Combiner Force, season yet. So I don't know if he's going to show up or not. We shall see. But taking him out of it and bringing in his box art, we will assume, I'll back this up, we will assume that he is going to basically look like this. And I think it's cool the way that the flames are coming out of the hands here. I think that that's really cool. But we'll basically assume that that's what he looks like, and that's what I'm going to kind of measure his paint apps by. Before I bring him back in, he comes with two accessories. They're flame pieces. They're just cast in a very simple plain orange. I think that these could have used some added detail, to be honest with you. There's a 5mm peg right here, and there's a square peg at the very top. The square one is the one you use the most. This 5mm peg is the only place I can see to use it is very weird, but we'll get into that shortly. So bringing this guy back in, the paint apps for him. The paint apps for him. Well, just under his chin at the top of his chest here, really he should have a gray color there. And it looks like there's a little bit of energon highlighting, kind of down around his knees. And maybe down around his knees and maybe kind of in the jaw of his arm, head, hands. I think it's a 9.5. I think based on the animation, I think it's a 9.5. It's pretty good, and honestly, I like it. I think it looks cool personally. So good start for this guy. The articulation, we have a head go to the left, go to the right, doesn't look up or down. These wings can click forward on a soft ratchet one and click back one. Maybe you can go back more, but I think you might chance breaking it. I don't know if I want to do that, or this isn't really mine. I don't think I'm going to bother. The shoulders can go up and down. They could go all the way around if it wasn't for the wing. The arm goes way out to the side. We have a nice 90-degree elbow. Nothing at the wrist, but the jaw of the hand beast do open and close. You'll see a square peg hole. A square peg hole inside of his hand. That's where you put the square end of this to make it look like he's, you know, shooting fire from his hand. Now, that being said, you'll notice that on his lower jaw we have a 5mm port. And that's really the only place that I can see to store this. Why you would do that, I don't know. I have no idea why you would want to do that. If you're using it maybe as a sword, I don't know. But I don't see any 5mm peg holes on him anywhere else, which is a shame. He definitely should have had them on the wing, so you could store it, you know, like this, say, when he's not using it in robot mode. As it is, there isn't really any weapons storage. So I think that those pieces are going to be off to the side a fair bit, unless you always want his hands to have flames coming out of them. And I personally wouldn't want that, because the guy can't always be breathing fire. Anyway, he has no waist. The legs can go all the way out to the side, can go way forward, can't really go back because of this plain section here. If you move it up, no, can't really go back at all actually. We have a knee to 90 degrees. The toes can tilt in and out just a little bit. Little bit of a toe tilt in and out there. Like I said, the leg to 90 degrees, right? And I swivel. Yeah, so, you know, he's missing a waist. Lack of any worthwhile weapon storage. The head can't look up or down. It's good. I don't know if you were playing with him, getting him in poses, I don't know how much you'd notice the fact that he doesn't have these things. You might, especially the weapon storage. I'm going to give it about a 7. You know, it's good, it's functional, it's mostly effective, but there was a little bit of room to improve with this guy. So I'm going to give it a 7. So we have a, you know, a 9.5, we have a 7. The guy's about a 8.25-ish right now. That's about where he's too. Let's go into the transformation for him. Okay, so you begin by bringing the arms up over his head and just straightening them up. And I'm going to back this up just a little bit so we can see more. Just straighten them up over his head, and you're going to bring down the wings. When you bring down the wings, There's an orange tab up here on the wing and a little slot in the black of his arm, the black part of his arm. You put that in there. It doesn't tab in the tightest, but it's all right. It's not like it's going to come out. It's not the tightest tab in the world. So you do that, and now you have those facing forward. And I guess you can close the mouths if you're so inclined. Take the head and turn that around 180 degrees. So now you're looking at the back of his head, and now this section on his back comes forward. It is a tight joint. I kind of felt like I was going to break it, but I don't think you will. But you really want to kind of hold it by the joint when you bring it forward. Bring it all the way down. And now you have that much of the jet done. The leg, well actually I guess the leg's next. The legs are hollow on the inside, and there's a black hinge joint in here, and you collapse the leg up onto itself. Now, there's an orange peg right here on the, I guess the tail end of the plane, and there's a molded out section here in the gray. This orange tab needs to go into that, but as you hinge out the leg and you bring it up, that's not going to quite line up. Here's the tab and here's the section. Once you get up there, you really kind of got to push it a bit further, and then it will line up. So when you think you've got it in, you don't quite have it in. Fresh out of package, these two hinges were very, very tight. I was afraid of breaking them. They seem to have loosened up a little bit, at least this leg. This leg is still pretty tight. I mean, listen. You can hear me pull it out. I would hold onto the thigh. Actually, I would hold onto the knee. And the knee and thigh. And be very careful how I tab this out. Because my fear is that this little black swivel hinge in here in the leg could break at some point, and I would hate to see anybody suffer that. So you bring that down, again, you have the orange peg up here, you have the gray opening slot back there. You'll notice the other leg kind of came off, and it will do that until you get everything situated. Bring that all the way up and in. Bring this one all the way up, put it on over, this one all the way up, and if I can get it all the way up, I'll put it on over. See what I mean? Like, it do take a little bit of squeezing. The legs are an extremely tight fit that do not really particularly want to work perfectly with me now. One moment, I need to peg that in and see it up closer to do it. And there we go. Now they're both pegged in. The legs are, I feel like the tolerances are just, it's not that the tolerances are off, that's not accurate. It's just that pegging them in is really, really tight. Really tight. Be careful with it. Bring up the toes, they snap in. And then you have more square openings here on the back for, you guessed it, those flame thruster now sections. Now he's not breathing fire, he's using them as thrusters, I guess. Now you could still put them in the mouths up front, but that's the way it looks in back, you know, swoosh, as he's flying around. I think it's a cool looking jet mode. I mean, a jet dragon, yeah, I can dig that. I can so dig this. Nice molding, nice detailing, a nice pattern, almost like a scaly pattern out here. I think it's definitely a different take for Twinferno, but I do totally dig it. I like it. I think it works really well. The transformation, solely because of those legs being so tight, I'm going to give his transformation about an 8. About an 8. You know what? Maybe even a 7.5. He was 8.25, 7.5. This guy's about a 7.75. And it could have been better if it wasn't for those legs. It would have definitely been a higher mark if it wasn't for those legs, because he's fun. To transform them back, you just pull those out and pull the leg all the way down, you know. Pull this off and pull the leg all the way down and bring out the toes. So yeah, he's a 7.75. Is he worth getting? I think so. I think so just because he's fun. If you have the Titans Return version of Twinferno, you know, should you double dip to get this guy? I don't know, maybe not. But if you don't have that one, or you have a problem with him being a headmaster, and you're thinking to yourself, hey, he shouldn't be a headmaster, I think that this is a good, viable option. You could certainly do some custom paint work on him to make him look more G1-esque. No problem to do that. And then he wouldn't be a headmaster. And he's still really cool. Again, I'm going to show, not a full transformation, but I brought him back this way because I just want to show you how to do those legs again. We have orange tab here and an orange tab over here. It is rough. You got to hinge the leg out. And you need to bring it up, almost Combiner Wars-esque. It is not up high enough. So you need to really kind of push it in as much as you can and then tab it on over. And you will have to push it with a bit of force. There's no doubt. This one over here, again, bring it up. This one's a little easier on mine, so it might be mileage varies a bit. Bring it up, and there you go. You got to make sure, basically what you're looking to do is make sure that the knee and the hinge that bends up is very, very deep inside here. Don't just bring it in so that it's like flush. You got to bring it in and then push it in more and push it in more to make sure it's in all the way. Undoing them, a lot easier. You just bring it out, bring it up, bring it out, and bring it up. I know I spent a nice bit of time there on the legs. I just wanted you to know exactly how that works. Because I think that a lot of people are going to, you know, hear about that leg transformation and judge this guy more harshly than he deserves. He's a good toy. He's a fun toy. And even though he belongs to the Scraplets, I'm kind of glad that we got him. I dig him. I dig him. And hopefully you do too. Let me know what you think of this guy. And, you know, I want to thank the Scraplets for letting me take a look at him. And I want to thank you guys for dropping by and giving me some of your valuable time. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together for another visit right here inside the video.